Luke, I am your t-shirt.
I'm just a mouth.
What's going on? I don't even know. Huh? The cat's dead. Arg. Arg. Oh.
Penises.
Hey guys, what's up? Today we're doing another deck profile. This one's a custom one, so I won't say much about it, but I really like it and it's been playtesting really well. So let's give it a look. Alright, this is the custom deck. It's basically a bunch of splashable legends I threw together that end up actually kind of working, which is really bizarre, but it's kind of fun. Basically, it's a menagerie of things. First up, we have Blackluster Soldier because he's really good, and we have Lights and Darks. And speaking of the light, we have Photon Thrasher. You can basically just special summon this if you don't have another monster, and it's really fun because it lets me get a light and rank 4 off. Next up is SynroTrix Marmelio. Basically, she searches any trap holes I would tech into the deck, which is really fun, and she's an Earth, which comes in handy later. Next up, we got HEROHand and IceHand, basically for monster and spell destruction. They work really well with a lot of the different cards in the deck, and again, for rank 4s. And then we have Goblinberg. He's pretty much for special summoning Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, as well as, I guess, any other card if I wanted to make a rank 4 to get his search off. But he can also be used to summon Recover, which I'll talk about in a minute. Next up, we have Tin Goldfish. Tin Goldfish acts the same as Goblinberg, so there you go. Next up, we have Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, of course. Basically, the most splashable hero of all time. Pretty much searches Mask Change and Mask Change 2. Next up, we have Tin Goldfish. Basically, serving a similar function to Goblinberg for rank 4s or getting Shadow Mist off. He's also a water, which comes in handy later. Next up, we have Recover. Recover is kind of an interesting card that I don't really see anyone talking about, but he's a level 1 Earth Psychic type tuner monster, which is really versatile. You can use him with Emergency Teleport, and since he's an Earth, you can make Naturia Beast and Barkion. Also, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their extra deck than you do, you can pay 2,000 life points and special summon this card from the graveyard, which is really handy. Next up, we've got Reinforcements of the Army, because we need to search Goblinberg and Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. Then we got 3MST. For getting rid of any obnoxious back row. We have Mask Change, Emergency Teleport, which basically summons this from the hand or the deck, which is how we do our Synchro plays. Next up, we have Mask Change 2. This lets us play all the fusions that aren't Dark Law. Snatch Steal, basically because I had 1 extra space and I wanted to put in this or Regeki. I wasn't sure which, so I chose Snatch Steal. Next up, Bottomless Trap Hole, because we can search it. And 3 SynroTrix Trap Hole Nightmares, because we can search it. This is really handy, except against in the Klee matchup. So in the Klee matchup, we take these out for stuff. Alright, for the extra deck, we only play 12 cards. This is pretty much so that if I can get, let's say, Masked Hero Darklaw on board and Naturia Beast, I now only have 10 cards in my extra deck, and if my opponent hasn't used any of his extra deck, this thing is now live. I would like to play only 10 cards so that it's always live, except I'm having a terrible time figuring out what to take out of the deck. Next, first up, we have Masked Hero Diane. This card's kind of neat. With Mask Change 2, I can play this with Recover, Goblinberg, and Marmelio, so he's rather easy to play. I can even use it on Naturia Beast and Barkion, although I don't know why I would do that. Then we have Acid. Acid's really cool. He's got 4 targets in this deck, Tin Goldfish and IceHand. Then we have Koga. Koga is really fun. I like Koga. Basically, I can only play him with Photon Thrasher, so he might come out. But I've played him once or twice, and he's really handy. And then we have the Star of the Fusions. We have Masked Hero Darklaw. He's the most anti-meta card I got. Works really well against pretty much any deck. Then for our Synchros, we have 1 Barkion, 1 TG Hyper Librarian, and 1 Naturia Beast. Barkion is pretty much for your Burning Abyss matchup, who actually might play some traps and maybe Klees. He's got 2,500 attack power. He's pretty hard for them to get over, any deck rather. and I can pretty much play him off of this card, TG Hyper Librarian. Now, TG Hyper Librarian was an odd tech choice of mine. I put him in simply because he has 2400 attack power. And my problem with the Necros matchup was if I didn't go first and didn't play Naturia Beast, it doesn't do me any good when he summons Unicorn. Unicorn's got 2300 attack power, and even if I can get Naturia Beast on board, which I almost normally can first turn, I end up running into the problem that I can't get rid of Unicorn. So TG Hyper Librarian is there basically to be the other 5 I can play, which can get over anything under 2400 attack power. And then obviously the star of my extra deck next to Dark Law is Naturia Beast. Naturia Beast is very powerful this format. He's good against Shadalls, he's good against Cleese, he's good against Heroes, and he's good against the upcoming Necros. Every one of those decks relies on a spell card, and he can just say no to them all. And if your opponent's not playing any traps, he's probably got no way of getting rid of this thing if I can get it on board before he has any way of playing. And then I got some rank 4s. Again, I would really like to play another 3 rank 4s in this deck, but in order to keep Recover live, I only play 4. And I play the 4 best. I play Dark Rebellion. Basically, he's a big beat stick. I've used this thing against heroes. Somebody played Excalibur against me, doubled his attack power, and attacked into my Blackluster Soldier. So on my move, I played this thing and took all my attack power back and crashed into him for game. It was awesome. Next, and I have Castle. Castle's nice. I prefer him over 101 simply because I can get rid of Dante just as reliably as 101 can get rid of anything else. And I don't have room for 101, even though I own one. So it's kind of lame. So I had to pick one or the other, and I picked Castle. Next up is Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. I like Exciton Knight, and this deck doesn't maintain hand advantage as well as some of the other decks. So he's live a lot, and because he's chainable, he's immune to Bottomless. Yeah, so what, your opponent activates Bottomless Trap Hole, I'll just chain this to it and blow everything up still. So he's really, really nice to have this and this in my extra deck. 2 kind of nukes. Last but not least is Lavalval Chain. I like Lavalval Chain. I actually own one, so that kind of helps. And he's really, really nice for basically getting Blackluster Soldier live. It's almost his only purpose is either to mill a Shadow Mist or mill a Photon Thrasher if I happen to have this in my hand. If I don't have this in my hand, I'm top decking this with Lavalval Chain, because Blackluster Soldier is extremely easy to play in this deck normally. So if I have a Dark Law and a Tree Beast on board, I'm pretty sure this is going to live for a turn. So I can obviously top deck Blackluster Soldier and mill one of the pieces that I need. And for the side deck is pretty basic. 3 Flying Sea for the Burning Abyss matchup. 3 Shared Ride for the upcoming Necros matchup, even though I play very well against it anyway. 3 Twisters for Cleese, if I need them. 3 Chain Dispel, and this is for Cleese, pretty much. I might take this out for System Down, I don't know. And then Deep Dark Trap Hole. This is kind of against Heroes and Shadalls. It works okay against both of them, but because I can search it with, let's say, Mermelio over here, it's really not a bad tech in against Heroes or Shadalls, because SynroTrix Trap Hole Nightmare helps me a lot less than Deep Dark, but SynroTrix Trap Hole Nightmare is a little more generic, so I figured I should main deck this and I should side deck this. Alright, well that's the deck. Alright guys, that was the deck. I hope you really liked it. It's a lot of fun and I'm probably going to do some duels with it, but first time thinking I'm going to do some duels next for my Spirit Hero build, which I really, really like as well, so stay tuned for those. Alright, and remember, if you don't troll the meta, Dark Law will.